Zheng Jie, Zheng Jie, born 5 July 1983, is a retired tennis player from China. In May 2009, she achieved a career-high singles ranking of world number 15. Zheng is one of the most successful tennis players from China. She won 4 WTA singles titles: Hobart in 2005, Estoril, Stockholm in 2006, and Auckland in 2012. She also won 15 doubles titles, 11 of them with Zheng Jie, including Wimbledon and the Australian Open in 2006. She won the bronze medal in doubles with Zheng Jie at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Her career-high doubles ranking is world number 3. Zheng reached the singles semifinals at the 2008 Wimbledon Championships, where she defeated world number 1 Ana Ivanovic in the process, becoming the first Chinese female player to advance to the semifinals at a Grand Slam. She also advanced to the semifinals at the 2010 Australian Open. Personal life. Zheng graduated from the Sichuan Sports Academy in June 2000. At Wimbledon in 2008, she gained recognition when she became the first Chinese player ever to reach the semifinals of a Grand Slam singles tournament, defeating then world number 1 Ana Ivanovic en route. She donated her winnings to the victims of the 2008 Sichuan earthquake in her native province. Zheng was coached by Zhang Hongwei, China's national women's team head coach, but she was later coached by her husband Zhang Yu, who was also her hitting partner. They became close during the period after her severe ankle injury. Zheng is on the advisory staff of Yonex and uses their rackets. She was wearing clothing by Ante and appeared in their advertising campaigns, and she is a Rolex testimony together with Roger Federer and Ana Ivanovic. Zheng started playing tennis when she was 10, after she had seen her older sister play and thought tennis would be good exercise. At first, it was just for exercise. Zheng was rather small at 4.5, and she and her parents were afraid that she would not have a career in the tennis world. In fact, she was called Zio Budir by her parents, which translates into something along the lines of small kid. Her stature was no surprise, though, for both her parents were short. They considered her focusing more on her studies, so that if she did not make it in tennis, she would be able to get a different job. However, her foreign coach saw potential in her and told her parents and her something along the lines of, "There are many people in China who read books, but there are few who are national heroes." After that, her parents agreed to allow her to pursue tennis as a profession. Nearly a year after the Sichuan earthquake that shook her home province, she visited there and brought with her tennis balls and rackets to distribute to the children there. Zheng keeps in a small vial pieces of her ankle bone that were removed during the ankle surgery of 2007. She says she keeps it because it is a part of her, and that it makes her cherish being able to play tennis again and life in general. She says that although it made her world ranking plunge, it also made her grow up a lot. In 2009, Zheng separated from the Chinese Tennis Association. She talked about how it protected her in times of injury, and when she was not playing well, for the CTA would back her completely and give her medical support. Now she manages her own money, which puts her at risk, but also means that successes will be more profitable. In April 2016, Zheng announced on social media that she had given birth to her first child. Playing style. Zheng's game is characterized by consistency, intellect, quick reflexes, and fighting spirit. She is not the strongest player, but makes up for this with her careful thinking of where to place her shots and willingness to change game plans if a strategy is not working. Her shots are of a lot of pace and very well placed, making Zheng an excellent defensive counterpuncher. She has one of the best footwork and court coverage on the tour, which allows her to keep shots in play that would normally be winners. So few shots get by her that after the final match of Hobart International in 2005, the finalist Gisela Dulko described her game as the Great Wall of China because she didn't miss one ball. Also an accomplished doubles player, she is very comfortable when playing at the net. Zheng's best shot is her backhand. Her main weakness is her serve, however she is sometimes able to neutralize her weak serve with her quickness, or by serving to the body or to the opponent's weaker ground stroke. Singles career 2002. In May 2002, she won two successive $25 ITF singles tournaments at Shanghai and Tianjin, right after reaching her first $50 tournament quarterfinal at Fukuoka, Japan. That September, she gained direct entry into a WTA tournament at Shanghai and reached round two before losing to Anna Kournikova. She ended the year as world no. 183. 2003. In 2003, she qualified for Hyderabad and took a love set against Mary Pierce in the main draw first round, only to lose the match in 3 sets. She also qualified for Doha, but then lost to Lena Krasnorodskaya. Later in the year, she defeated Nuria Lagister in the first round of a $25 tournament, Alona Bondarenko in the first round of qualifying for Palermo, and Maria Elena Cameron at another $50 event in July, where she reached the quarterfinal, but it was in August at the Bronx that she won her first $50 title, beating Shani Perry. Although Kirilenko avenged this defeat in qualifying at the U.S. Open, Zheng proceeded to qualify for Bali in September with victories over Yan Zhai and Yuki Yoshida. She then defeated Flavia Pennetta in the first round of the main draw before bowing out to Tamarine Tanasugarn. However, the very next month she defeated Tanasugarn at the Japan Open, where she reached her first WTA semifinal before losing to Maria Sharapova. At the end of October, she reached another WTA quarterfinal at Quebec City with a second round win over Antonella Cerezanetti before losing in 3 sets to Laura Granville. In December, she was a losing finalist at two successive $50 tournaments, falling in 3 sets to countrywoman Peng Shuai at Changsha after victories over Cecil Karatancheva, Kamil Pin and Eiko Nakamura, and also in 3 sets to the same Cecil Karatancheva after beating Sun Tanshan in the semifinal at Shenzhen. Consequently, Zheng broke into the world top 100 with a year-end ranking of 93. 2004. The following year brought further improvements in her singles results. She reached the quarterfinals at Hyderabad and Doha, where she comfortably beat Jelena Dokic in round two, and the second round at Miami and Vienna, where she beat Lisa Raymond. Then at the French Open, playing only her second Grand Slam singles main draw after gaining direct entry to the Australian Open but losing in the first round, she defeated Dali Randriantify, Emily Loit, and Tatiana Garbin in succession to reach the fourth round, where she lost to Paola Suarez. She was the first Chinese woman to reach the fourth round of a Grand Slam event. At the Summer Olympics in Athens, she lost her first round match to Ai Sugiyama. In September, she won a $25 tournament at Beijing, defeating Yan Zhai in the semifinal and Lai Na in the final. She later made it to the finals in a $50 tournament in Shenzhen before losing to fellow countrywoman Peng Shuai. Zheng ended the year world ranked 67. 2005. Zheng started 2005 by capturing her first WTA Tour singles title at Hobart after wins over Mariana Diaz-Oliva, Shinobu Sago, Clara Kukalova, Lai Na, and Gisela Dulko. She qualified for Dubai with wins over Sandra Klanova, Maria Elena Cameron, and Virginia Ruano Pascual, and went on to defeat Annabel Medini Garrigues in the main draw before succumbing to Lindsay Davenport. Filko gained her revenge in the quarterfinal at Estoril in April. But Zheng remained in fine form and reached her second WTA final at Rabat, Morocco in May, losing to Nuria Lagister after wins over Catalina Castano, Maureen Drake, and Tatiana Garbin, followed by a walkover against Nalai, who had to retire at 3-3 from an ankle sprain. A 3-set loss to Francesca Schiavone in the first round of the French Open prevented Zheng from defending her ranking points accrued there the previous year. In August, She reached the second round at Los Angeles by again beating Shinobu Sago, the Canadian Open quarterfinal with wins over Maria Emilia Salerni and Ai Sugiyama, and another quarterfinal at New Haven after defeating Katarina Esrobotnik and Emily Loit in qualifying, and Jamia Jackson in the main draw, though she was assisted at the end of the month. Further first-round wins in September over Maria Vento Kabchai at Bali and Jelena Jankovic at Beijing could not be consolidated on in subsequent rounds of the respective tournaments, but at Guangzhou, the last tournament she would play all year, she reached the semifinal with wins over Carly Gullickson, Jamia Jackson and Maria Kirilenko, before suffering her second. This string of results lifted her to a career-high world ranking of 42 in early October 2005. 2006, two Grand Slam titles in doubles. 2006 started poorly for Zheng in singles, with a string of 6 successive first-round losses dipping her ranking to world no. 56 by the end of February. However, after a first-round loss in Indian Wells, her 2006 singles breakthrough came at Key Biscayne, where she reached the quarterfinals with wins over Nathalie Dechai and Annalena Gronfeld before falling to Tatiana Golovin. Zheng's newfound confidence earned a title at her next tournament in Estoril, where she defeated top-seeded Flavia Pennetta en route to the final before a victory over compatriot Lai Na, who was forced to retire at 1 set each. In Strasbourg, Zheng displayed yet reached the quarterfinals where she lost to second-seeded Czech Nicole Vadisova. In August, Zheng won the tournament in Stockholm without dropping a set. In the final, she defeated the top seed and former world no. 2 Anastasia Miskina. A knee injury hampered Zheng's singles progress towards the end of 2006. Her U.S. Open ended in a second-round defeat by Anastasia Rodionova, and her last competitive match of the season saw her worst loss in terms of rankings, where she fell in the second round of Zurich qualifying to world number 139, Joanna Sekowicz of Poland. However, in December, Zheng took part in the Asian Games in Doha. After a surprising first-round loss in the team event, she went into the singles competition as the second seed. She ended up winning the gold medal with victories over Shaka Uberoi, Chan Young-jan, Eiko Nakamura, and Sania Mirza. She also took gold in doubles with partner Yan Zai, defeating Chan Young-jan and Chuang Chia-jung of Taiwan. To end 2006, Zheng won the Chinese National Championships with a 3-set victory over her doubles partner in the final. 2007 started well for Zheng, where she reached a second Hobart quarterfinal before losing to eventual champion Ana Ivanovic. At the Australian Open, Zheng put in an extremely disappointing performance, losing to then 97th-ranked Julia Schroff of Germany after holding match point on more than one occasion. In doubles, her title defense with Yan Zai ended in the semifinals with a defeat by Chan Young-jan and Chuang Chia-jung, the same partnership which they managed to defeat in the final of the Doha Asian Games just 1 month previously. Zheng competed in both the singles and doubles with Yan Zai of the French Open. At the beginning of the tournament, she sustained an ankle injury, hampering her performance. She was knocked out in the first round of the singles competition by Timea Baksinski and also lost in the first round in the doubles portion. The ankle injury sustained at the French Open ruled her out of Wimbledon Championships to defend her doubles title. She withdrew from all events for the rest of the year because of the ankle injury. Her ranking suffered as a result, ending the year ranked world number 163. 2008 Wimbledon Semifinal. Zheng's return to the tour was successful in singles. She won 2 qualifying matches in Gold Coast before losing to Alisa Klebanova. In doubles, she and Yan Zai reached the final, only to lose to the third seeds, Safina and Seve. However, in Sydney, the duo won the title, beating second seeds Sugiyama and Esrobotnik and reigning U.S. Open champions Dechai and Safina along the way. At the Australian Open, the duo made it to the semifinals, beating the Williams sisters along the way, before losing to the 12th seeds Pierre and Azarenka. Zheng qualified for the main draw of the French Open and then reached the third round before losing to Dinara Safino. Her breakthrough in women's tennis occurred at Wimbledon. Despite only being ranked world number 133, Zheng was given a wild card into the main draw. In the third round, she defeated the first seed and world no. 1 Ana Ivanovic. This was her first victory against a top-10 player. Zheng then beat Agnes Seve of Hungary, the 15th seed, in the fourth round, and 18th-seeded Nicole Vadisova in the quarterfinals. This made Zheng the first Chinese women's tennis player ever to reach the semifinals of a Grand Slam singles tournament. She also became the first wildcard to reach the semifinals of the women's singles at Wimbledon. In the semifinals, Zheng lost to two-time Wimbledon champion and former world number 1 Serena Williams. Zheng's strong Wimbledon performance elevated her ranking from world number 133 to number 40. She donated her prize money from the tournament and spent time helping the victims and post-reconstruction effort of the 12 May earthquake that killed nearly 70,000 people and left 5 to 10 million homeless in her home province. She did the same with her French Open prize money earlier in the year. In August 2008, Zheng competed for China in both singles and doubles at the Beijing Olympics. In the singles portion, Zheng made it to the third round before losing to sixth-seeded Dinara Safino of Russia, who eventually won the singles silver medal. Zheng had better results in doubles with her partner Yan Zhai, where they were seeded eighth. After losing in the semifinals to the fourth-seeded Spanish team of Anabel Medina Garrigues and Virginia Ruano Pascual for a spot in the gold medal final, they won the bronze medal match against the Ukrainian sisters team of Ilona and Katerina Bondarenko. This was the second Olympics tennis medal ever won by China. After the Olympics, Zheng entered the U.S. Open. She advanced to the third round before losing a tight match to second-seeded Jelena Jankovic. She then was seeded third in the Tier Roman 3 Guangzhou International Open held in September and made it to the semifinals before losing to top-seeded Vera Zivanerva. Ranked world number 30, Zheng returned in September to Beijing for the China Open Tier Roman 2 tournament. She advanced to the semifinals before losing to world number 7 and fourth-seeded Svetlana Kuznetsova. Based on her strong China Open performance, Zheng became Asia's highest-ranked women's singles player at world number 26, her highest-to-date career WTA singles ranking. Later, on 20 October, she reached world number 23. In March 2009, Zheng was awarded the WTA Tour Comeback of the Year award for 2008 as she rebounded from an injury-marred 2007. 2009. In January at the Australian Open, Zheng was seeded 22nd in women's singles. She advanced to the round of 16 and faced 8th seed Svetlana Kuznetsova. Zheng trailed 1-4 in the opening set, but was forced to retire with a left wrist injury after hitting the court while reaching for a ball. This was the furthest that she progressed at women's singles at this tournament in her career. In the doubles event, she and her partner Yan Zhai were eliminated in the third round by Nuria Lagasterovives and Maria Jose Martinez Sanchez. Zheng returned to at the Dubai Championships and made it to the third round before losing to world number 1 Serena Williams. She and her partner Yan Zhai lost in the first round in doubles to the Bondarenko sisters. Seeded fourth at the Monterrey Open, she made it to the semifinals before losing to no. 2-seed Marion Bartali. After this result, she created her highest world ranking of no. 17 at that time. Zheng was seeded 17th at the Sony Ericsson Open. She advanced to the round of 16 before losing to Serena Williams in 3 sets. Zheng's strong performance helped her to reach world number 16, the highest ranking ever by a Chinese tennis player. Li Na had also reached world number 16 in 2007. At the Internazionale Biennale d'Italia, Zheng lost to world number 1 Dinara Safina in 3 sets. At the Madrid Open, Zheng fell to Amélie Mauresmo in the second round. Despite the loss, on 18 May, Zheng became the highest-ranked Chinese player in history at number 15. At the French Open, Zheng, seeded 15th, progressed to the second round before losing Michel Larcher de Brito in straight sets. At the Egon Classic at Birmingham, the first tournament on grass, Zheng was the top seed but lost to the eventual champion Magdalena Rybarikova in the third round. Next, at the Egon International, Zheng advanced to the second round before losing to Canadian Alexandra Wozniak. Seeded 16th at the Wimbledon Championships, Zheng was upset in the second round by Daniela Hantuchova in straight sets. As she was a semifinalist the previous year, her ranking fell to world number 24. Zheng's next tournament was the Le Championships as part of her U.S. Open Series campaign. She advanced to the fourth round before losing to 13th-seeded Samantha Stosur in 3 sets. At the Toronto, Zheng advanced to the third round before losing to Lucy Safarova. At the U.S. Open, Zheng, who was seeded 21, advanced to the third round before losing in straight sets to the No. 13 seed, Nadia Petrova. Zheng ended the year with a 28-22 singles record, and she finished the year ranked world number 36. 2010 Australian Open Semifinal. Zheng began her season at the Hobart International, where she made it to the quarterfinals before losing to the eventual tournament champion. Zheng was unseeded at the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year. After 3-set wins over Peng Shuai, Maria Jose Martinez Sanchez, and Marion Bartali, as well as a straight sets fourth-round win over Ilona Bondarenko, Zheng made Australian Open history by becoming the first Chinese player to reach an Australian Open semifinal when she took out unseeded Maria Kirilenko in the quarterfinals. In the semifinal match, she lost to former world number 1 and 2004 champion Justine Henin. Zheng next competed at the Dubai Championships as the 16th seed, but was upset in the first round by Alicia Malik in 3 sets. Next competing at the first-ever Malaysian Open, Zheng reached the second round as the third seed, where she was defeated by Chiang Kai-chen. However, Zheng won the doubles title at the event with Chan Young-jan, defeating Anastasia and Arina Rodionova in a championship tie-break. Zheng next competed at the BNP Paribas Open, where she was seeded 18th. She advanced to the quarterfinals before losing to No. 2 seed Caroline Wozniacki. In doubles, Zheng and Chan reached the semifinalist. At the Sony Ericsson Open, Zheng lost in her second-round match to Virginie Razzano. She and doubles partner Chan reached the semifinals. Zheng was seeded 5th at the Warsaw Open, where she reached the final, losing to the defending champion, Alexandra Dolgorou. She also advanced to the semifinals of the doubles event of the tournament. At the French Open, Zheng was seeded 26th and reached the second round before losing to Anastasia Pivovarova. Zheng began her grass court season at the Egon International, where she was unseeded. She lost in the second round to British wildcard Elena Baltacha. At Wimbledon, she was the 23rd seed and lost in the second round to Petra Kvitova, who herself made it to the semifinals. At the Bank of the West Classic in Stanford, Zheng, she was defeated by Maria Sharapova in the first round. In doubles, she reached the final and lost in close 3 sets to Liesl Huber and Lindsay Davenport. At her next tournament in San Diego, Zheng reached the second round before losing to Daniela Hantuchova. In consolation, Zheng partnered with Maria Kirilenko to win her second doubles title of the year, defeating second-seeded Lisa Raymond and Renee Stubbs in the final. Her next singles tournament was the Western and Southern Open, where Zheng lost to the 11th seed Flavia Pennette in the first round. In doubles, Jie teamed with Chan Young-jan and made it to the quarterfinals. Next, playing at the Rogers Cup, Zheng reached the quarterfinals before losing to Svetlana Kuznetsova in straight sets. She next competed at the U.S. Open in singles and doubles. In singles, Zheng was the 21st seed. However, she was upset in the second round by a resurgent Ana Ivanovic. In doubles, she and Chan reached the semifinals before losing to Nadia Petrova. Following the tournament, Zheng withdrew from all scheduled tournaments, citing a wrist injury, which kept her off of the tour until February 2011. 2011, Zheng was scheduled to compete at the Hong Kong Classic Exhibition Tournament in Team Asia Pacific alongside Lai Na and Mark Philippousis, as well as competing as the third seed at the Hobart International. Zheng hadn't rehabilitated from her wrist injury sufficiently and withdrew from both tournaments as well as the Australian Open, where she was a semifinalist in 2010. Jie made a return to the tour at the Pattaya Open in Thailand. She was seeded seventh but was defeated by Akil Muradova in the first round, in 2 sets. Zheng next competed at the Dubai Championships. In the first round, she defeated Christina Bawa in 3 sets. In the second, she was defeated by Patty Schneider. At the Qatar Open, Zheng lost to Flavia Pennetta in straight sets. Zheng next played at the BNP Paribas Open, where she was a quarter-finalist in 2010. Zheng continued her string of losses, falling 3-6, 2-6 to Sofia Arvidsson. At the Sony Ericsson Open, she won a tough 3-setter over Sorana Cîrstea. Zheng lost to her next opponent, the fourth seed and world known, for Samantha Stosur, 2-6, 1-6. Her next event was the Family Circle Cup in Charleston. In the first round, Zheng defeated qualifier Monica Puig in a match lasting over 3 hours. In the next round, she faced seeded Janina Wickmayer for the first time, losing 4-6, 0-6. Zheng then competed at the Estoril Open as the seventh seed. Her first round opponent was Italian Romina Oprandi, who won the match in straight sets. Zheng then played in a qualification tournament for the first time since 2008 at the Italian Open as the second seed. She lost in the second round of qualifying to Anastasia Rodionova 6-3, 2-6, 5-7. However, Zheng reached the main draw as a lucky loser, but lost to the wild-card Alberta Bryantey in 2 sets. Next, playing in Brussels, Zheng lost to Ayumi Morita in the first round in 3 sets after losing her points from reaching the finals of Warsaw from the previous year. Zheng dropped from world no. 47 to no. 80, her lowest ranking since 2008. At French Open, she defeated Sandra Zolovova in the first round. In the second round, Zheng lost to ninth-seeded Petra Kvitova. She partnered Peng Shuai in doubles, losing in the second round. Zheng then participated in 3 grass court tournaments. Firstly, at the Egon Classic, she lost to Yaroslava Shvedova in a tight first-round contest. Zheng then played at the Egon International, qualifying for the main draw by beating Ayumi Morita, Edina Galovitz Hall, and finally Melanie Auden. She lost in the first round of the main draw, 4-6, 4-6 to Daniela Hantuchova. At the Wimbledon Championships, Zheng reached the second round for the third consecutive year, beating Zuzana Andruskova before losing in disappointing fashion to Japanese qualifier Misaki Doi, 3-6, 1-6. In doubles, Zheng and Peng reached the quarterfinals, losing a tight 3-set match to eventual champions Kavita Pesht and Katerina Esrabatnik. Zheng began her campaign at the U.S. Open Series at the City Open in Maryland. However, she was beaten in the first round by Jill Craibus in 3 sets. Zheng next made the third round of the Mercury Insurance Open in San Diego, beating Mirjana Lusic in 3 sets in the first round and seeded Roberta Vinci 6-4, 6-2 in the second. In the third, she lost to Daniela Hantuchova. Zheng next entered the qualification tournament for the Rogers Cup. In the first qualification round, she defeated Stephanie Fortz-Gakin in a close 3-setter. In the next qualification round, Zheng faced Japanese veteran Kimiko Date-Krum for the first time, and by winning that match in 3 sets, she qualified for the main draw. In the first round of the main draw, Zheng waltzed past fellow qualifier Alberta Bryantey 6-2, 6-1, setting up a second-round match with second seed Kim Clijsters. In the second round, she lost the first set 3-6, however. She proceeded to the third round because Clijsters retired at 2-1 down in the second set due to an abdominal injury. In the third round, Zheng contested a close match with Serena Williams, but eventually lost in 3 sets. After a strong performance, Zheng leaped from world no. 82. Following on from Toronto, Zheng entered the qualification tournament for the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. As the 24th seed, Zheng overcame Coco Vandeweghe in the first qualification round, setting up a match with 12th seed Johanna Larsson, who she overwhelmed 6-1, 6-2 to qualify for the main draw. In the first round, she faced Julia Gorges and won that match 6-2, 1-6, 6-4. In the second round, she lost to Jelena Jankovic in 3 sets. At the U.S. Open, Zheng overcame Vitalia Diachenko in the first round before losing in 3 sets to Andrea Petkovic. Zheng played a tournament in her native China for the first time in 2 years at the Guangzhou International Open, where she was unseeded. She defeated 6th-seeded Alberta Bryantey, Napoleon Lerchi-Wakarn, and 4th-seeded Petra Martic before losing to Magdalena Rybarikova in the semifinals. She played next at the Pan-Pacific Open in Japan, where she fell to qualifier Coco Vandeweghe after a tough 3-setter in the first round. Zheng received a wild card into the China Open. In the first round, she beat Alberta Bryantey, although Bryantey was leading 4-0 in the deciding set. In the second round, she lost to Agnieszka Radwanska 1-6, 4-6. Zheng played her final event of the season at the HB Open in Osaka. She amazingly won her first match versus Zuzana Kukova 6-1, 6-1, and after that she beat fifth-seeded Australian Jarmila Gajdasova to reach the quarterfinals, which had to be postponed because of rain. After a one-day delay, Zheng beat Petra Setkovska 0-6, 7-5, 6-3. Zheng later lost to top-seeded Samantha Stosur in the semifinals in 3 sets. By virtue of this performance, Zheng entered the top 50, ending the season ranked world no. 48. Zheng then played an ITF tournament in Taipei as the top seed, but lost in the second round to Yaroslava Shvedova, 2-6, 2-6. 2012, V12. At the beginning of the 2012 season, Zheng switched her racket to the new Yonex Zone Xi 98 model. She began the season by winning the ASB Classic, her first WTA singles title since 2006. The unseeded Zheng defeated Ayumi Morita in the first round before upsetting 8th-seed Monica Niculescu in the second, 6-0, 6-2. In the quarterfinals, Zheng beat Lucy H. Radika 6-2, 6-3, and third-seed Svetlana Kuznetsova 2-6, 6-3, 6-3 in the semifinals. In the final, Zheng defeated fourth-seed Flavia Pennetta as the Italian retired due to injury in the third set. She was scheduled to play at the Murla Hobart International, but withdrew due to a right thigh injury. At the Australian Open, Zheng reached the fourth round, where she was beaten by Sara Errani, with straight sets wins over Madison Keys, Roberta Vinci, and top -10 ranked Marion Bartali. She had a disappointing run of results following the Australian Open, failing to win a match until the BNP Paribas Open, where she handily defeated Michaela Krajicek, having received a first-round bye. In the third round, Zheng lost to Lai Na 1-6, 3-6. Zheng then reached the third round at the Sony Ericsson Open, beating H. Radeka and Angelique Kerber in straight sets before losing to Dominika Cibulkova, 2-6, 0-6. The clay court season she began as the fifth seed in Estoril. In the first round, she defeated Ekaterina Makarova 6-3, 6-1, but lost in the second to Galina Voskobova. Zheng then lost in the first round of Madrid, Rome and Brussels to Maria Kiranko, Anabel Medini-Garrigues and Arantxa Rus, respectively. At the French Open, Zheng was seeded 31st and lost in the second round to Alexandra Wozniak. She chose to begin the grass court season in Birmingham, however. As she registered late, she was forced to qualify for the main draw, which she did by beating both Natalie Grandin and Sandra Zanuska. Zheng won 3 matches to reach the quarter-finals, where she defeated fourth-seeded Roberta Vinci in a 3-set match hampered by multiple rain delays. In the semifinals, Zheng lost to Jelena Jankovic in 3 sets. At Wimbledon, Zheng entered both ladies' singles seeded 25th and ladies' doubles, partnering with compatriot Peng Shuai unseeded. In the first round singles, she defeated unseeded Canadian Stephanie Dubois. In round 2, Zheng avenged her French Open defeat by Wozniak, another unseeded Canadian, in straight sets. In the third round, Zheng lost 7-6, 2-6, 7-9 to Serena Williams, who hit a Wimbledon record of 23 aces. In the first round doubles, Zheng and Peng lost to Marina Irakovic and Tamarine Tanishevern 2-6, 2-6. At the U.S. Open, Zheng lost in the third round to world number 1 Victoria Azarenka. In doubles, Zheng decided to partner with Katerina Srebotnik. However, they lost in the first round. Following the U.S. Open, Zheng competed in the Asian swing. Zheng was the second seed in Guangzhou, but lost in the second round to Laura Robson. In Tokyo, Zheng was crushed by Dominika Cibulkova 6-0, 6-3 in the second round, while in Beijing Zheng was upset in the first round by Lara Ruibarina Vecino. In Osaka, Zheng was seeded second, but lost to Pauline Parmentier in the second round. Zheng qualified for the Tournament of Champions as a result of the withdrawal of Venus Williams. In the round-robin section of the tournament, Zheng was grouped with Nadia Petrova, Maria Kirilenko, and Tsvetana Pironkova. Zheng lost her matches to Petrova and Pironkova and retired while down in the first set against Sofia Arvidsson, Kirilenko's replacement. Zheng ended the year ranked number 26. 2013. Her year began in Auckland in a bid to defend her title at the ASB Classic. Despite being seeded fourth, Zheng rebounded in Sydney by defeating sixth-seeded Sam Stosur in the first round, 6-3, 6-7, 6-4. In the second round, she lost to Madison Keys, a qualifier ranked 135. At the Australian Open, Zheng reached the third round after another win over Stosur, but she then lost in 3 sets to Germany's Julia Gorges. Following the Australian Open, Zheng struggled with poor results, losing early in Doha, Indian Wells and Miami, resulting in her falling from the top 50. Zheng began the clay court season with early losses in Madrid and Rome to Svetlana Kuznetsova and Li Na respectively. Zheng's fortunes changed at the Brussels Open, where she defeated Caroline Wozniacki before losing in the quarterfinals to Ramona Oprandi. At the French Open, Zheng reached the third round for the first time since 2008, but lost to Maria Sharapova in straight sets. Zheng did not play any warm-up events during the grass court season, instead electing to play her first match on the surface at Wimbledon, where she lost in the first round to Caroline Garcia. This was Zheng's first loss in the first round of a Grand Slam tournament since 2007. At the U.S. Open, in the second round, Zheng played in what would become one of the longest U.S. Open women's matches in history, lasting more than 3 hours. She wore down Venus Williams with powerful returns and impressive endurance, eventually winning a third-set tiebreaker to take the match, but she then lost to Carla Suarez Navarro in the third round. 2014. Zheng started the year by losing early in Shenzhen and Hobart. However, she reached the third round at the Australian Open, defeating 12th-seeded Roberta Vinci and Madison Keys before losing to Casey Delacroix. This was then followed by a string of poor results, culminating in a first-round loss to Anna Karolina Schmiedlova at the French Open. Zheng's fortunes improved during the grass court season. Despite losing in the first round at Birmingham, Zheng then reached the final of the Top Shelf Open, where she was defeated by Coco Van Duyck. Zheng defeated Ana Ivanovic in the first round of the Wimbledon Championships, but was then beaten by 11th seed Ana Ivanovic. She played just 5 tournaments after Wimbledon, highlighted by a first-round loss to Peng Shuai at the U.S. Open and a quarter-final run in Hong Kong. 2015 Australian Open doubles final and retirement. Zheng played just one singles match in 2015, a first-round loss at the Australian Open to Chiang Kai-chen. However, at the same tournament, she and her partner Chan Young-jan reached the finals of the women's doubles event, where they were defeated by Bethany Mattek-Sands and Lucy Safarova in straight sets. Zheng played 6 further doubles events in 2015, losing in the third round of the French Open, the final at Eastbourne, and the first round at Wimbledon. Zheng has not participated in any professional tennis matches since the 2015 Wimbledon Championships, and as a result, no longer holds a professional ranking in singles or doubles. Significant finals. Grand Slam tournaments. Doubles, 3-2 titles, 1 runner-up. Premier Mandatory/Premier 5 tournaments. Doubles, 5-3 titles, 2 runner-ups. Olympics. Doubles, 1 bronze medal. WTA Career Finals. Singles, 7-4 titles, 3 runner-ups. Doubles, 30-15 titles, 15 runner-ups. ITF Circuit Finals. Singles, 10-4-6. Doubles, 23-17-6. Singles Performance Timeline. Only main draw results in WTA Tour, Grand Slam tournaments, and Olympic Games are included in win-loss records. Wins over top -10 players. Women's Doubles Performance Timeline. Only main draw results in WTA Tour, Grand Slam tournaments, and Olympic Games are included in win-loss records. Mixed Doubles Performance Timeline. Mixed doubles partners Max Murney, DN Daniel, Nestor MB Mahesh Bhupathi, RB Rohan Vipana SL Scott Lipsky HK Henry Kontainen. ITF level